Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our regular meeting of council for Tuesday, June the 10th, starting with our land acknowledgement. In the spirit of respect, reciprocity, and truth, we honor and acknowledge the Mokitas and the traditional Treaty 7 territory and oral practices of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, Liko, Nakota Nations, Chiniki, Bearspaw, Goodstoney, and Tsuut'ina Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis government of the Métis Nation with Alberta District 4. Finally, we acknowledge all nations, Indigenous and non, who live, work, and play on this land and who honor and celebrate this territory. This sacred gathering place provides us with an opportunity to engage in and demonstrate leadership on reconciliation, and we are honored to have you join us on Treaty 7 territory. Moving to our approval of the agenda, can I have the motion for the agenda, please? Can I have a councillor make the motion for approval of the agenda, please? Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good afternoon, everyone. I move that the Council approve the June 10th, 2025 regular meeting of Council agenda as presented.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from Council or Administration if anything needs to be added to or changed in the agenda? Nothing from admin. Anything from Council? Nothing from Council. With that, move to the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Just for a moment of reflection, just a reminder that the reason we were starting late today was we attended the sod turning ceremony this morning for the new K-9 Catholic school over in the Chelsea and Dawson area. And so this is an exciting day for us. We all know that the pressures that we're feeling with the growth of Chestermere and the need for new schools. And the school board announced this morning that they anticipate that the construction of the building to be done within the next 18 to 24 months. We don't have an exact opening date right now, but certainly was a great opportunity, and I'm sure that we're going to be putting out some communications from that as there was members from the school board, there were trustees there, MLA Chantal DeJong joined us, so it was a great morning for us just to be able to celebrate with the Calgary Catholic School Division for the construction of the new K-9 site, and construction has already started on that site. And so we look forward to seeing that coming together quickly. Moving to our public input, looking to the large services, has anyone signed in and or submitted anything online for public input session?
Through the chair, no, there's not.
Great, thank you. So now we have the approval of the minutes. So this is for the regular meeting of council minutes for May the 27th. Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Councillor Narayan.
So move the council approve the May 27, 2025 regular meeting of council minutes as presented.
Comments, questions? Call for the vote. Great, thank you. That's carried unanimously. Moving to correspondence for information. This is the resolution tracker 2024 and 2025 presented by Kent Edney, our CAO.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to council, there should be two versions of the resolution tracker here. One in your agenda package in the small print, and you should have an 11 by 17 tucked in the front. It's also up on the screen here. We've given this an update since the last update at the last council meeting, so everything should be in pretty good order. Not too much to highlight on here today, other than we have a lot of things coming to the June 17th gap and an even busier agenda on the 24th with a number of these items. So unless there's any specific questions to any of these, I may just ask you to accept this for information.
Yeah, the only update I would have is that on the first page, the two on the bottom, these would be motion numbers 25050609 and 250506-10. That those have been written. We just got to have to send them off. I'm just waiting to sign them. They'll be sent in.
Okay, perfect. We'll update that for the next go round.
Okay. Any other questions from council with regards to the resolution tracker? I think it's also exciting to see how many things are in green. on the completed side of things. I know that a lot of the stress that can get caused within council or administration is a number of things that we're working on, and I think a good leadership principle is also to take time to celebrate things that have been completed. So much like we were able to celebrate the construction of the new school, getting that underway there this morning, it's also nice to see many items in green. With that, then, can I have the motion, please, to accept for information? Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Councillor Grant.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council accept the 2024-2025 resolution tracker for information.
Any other final opportunity for comments, questions with regards to the resolution tracker? Thank you. Call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. 7.1, request for decision, appointment of Director of Emergency Management, DEM, and Deputy Director of Emergency Management, DDEM. Is this now being presented by yourself? Because I'm not seeing a Cody in the room at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just through your worship to the rest of council. Yes, Cody is supposed to be here to present this. So Mr. Fluker just went out to see if he could track him down. I'm getting a Teams message that he's not available right now at this time. Is that correct, Vanessa?
To the chair and council, he's actually requested if he could come, if we can move this to closer to the end of the meeting, because he is in a fire meeting at this time.
Okay. Hopefully a fire meeting, not a fire. Okay, good. Okay. So our fire chief is actually the one who's supposed to be presenting this and is unavailable. So can I have a motion to table this motion, please? This item. Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Deputy Mayor Schindler.
I move that council table item 7.1, appointment of DEM and DDEM.
Thank you. Call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. So now, 7.2. Which is report for information, Chestnut Recreation Community Association, CRCA, beach parking update. And this is being presented by Mike Fluker, our Director of Community Operations.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Mike Fluker, Community Operations, and I'm here to present an update on the beach parking situation over at the Community Recreation Center. If you may recall, certainly last year we had a number of issues with the parking over at the CRCA parking lot. With the congestion, people parking haphazard, and of course on the weekends when it was the busiest, trying to get back out onto Chestermere Boulevard. Certainly cause for concern and safety of not only the citizens that were trying to cross the road, but everybody that was living up and down that stretch of the road. So what we did, and it was the CRCA that actually reached out to us for assistance, and we put a number of measures in place that I think will alleviate that parking situation this year. So just to read these off to you, the measures that have been put in place. First of all, our CPOs, particularly on the weekends, will be making regular patrols of that area to assist where needed. They will also do some parking enforcement right within the CRCA parking lot. There's a number of signs that were up along a fence line there that stated no parking. It was fire zones, that kind of thing. So we will be issuing tickets in that regard. It won't take long for people that are ignoring the signs to get the message, and where necessary, we will even tow vehicles. The CRCA is also hiring students like they did last year. We're going to be collecting revenue from non-Chestermere residents to park in that area. Last year, we had some issues with some people getting quite aggressive with these students that were trying to collect the fees for parking. So we're doing a couple of things in that regard. First of all, we'll be trying to teach these young people how to handle the aggressive behavior. Anybody that doesn't respond positively, again, the CPOs will respond where necessary and take the appropriate action. Number three, we've placed extra garbage and recycling containers within the parking lot and in the area, and those will be picked up and emptied on a regular basis. We're going to try and create a cleaner environment for everybody's use and to make not only the parking lot but the beach area much more attractive. It does get all kinds of garbage backed up, and the receptacles do get full, so they will be checked certainly on a daily basis and where necessary more than once a day. We've also ordered emergency services parking signs only that will go along the west side of I want to say Chestermere Drive. I think it's Chestermere Drive.
West Chestermere Drive.
West Chestermere. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Appreciate it. And we will enforce that parking as far back as the edge of the CRCA property. And we know that some of the citizens that actually live on the street will maybe need to park on the east side of on the east side of the drive, and we're trying to make that parking available to them by preventing parking by unauthorized vehicles, in the hopes of alleviating complaints of the people that actually live there. In addition, we've assisted the CRCA with some cement barricades and some wooden barricades to guide traffic as they go in and out of the parking lot. The idea there is to force the traffic to exit further south out of the parking lot, giving them more time to get into the traffic, and hopefully alleviate some of that backup that occurs when people are crossing the roads. If this does not have the desired effect, then we're going to speak to the CRCA about perhaps hiring one more summer student to actually act as a crossing guard so that we can stop the pedestrian traffic to help the vehicular traffic clear when necessary. So we've had a couple of warm weekends so far, and we've had no problems. This will yet be tested as it gets warmer, in particular in some of the long weekends. But I believe the measures that we put in place will be effective. And if for some reason they're not, we will try and institute some additional measures as I've laid out. For your information, any questions?
Great, thank you. Council, any questions with regards to this? Councilor Orzanowski.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. And through our chair, thank you for the presentation, Mike. I just have a question. I'm glad to hear some of these solutions that we're proposing for this season's beach. The beach season, I guess, that's already upon us. Looking forward, have we considered, or has your group considered adding parking stalls along East Chestermere Drive, or looking at paid parking where people are kind of parking now already, but making it a little bit more organized? And we all know that there's a safety concern also when people are walking down the streets, even though there's a sidewalk right in front of the CRCA, right along West Chestermere Drive, not East Chestermere Drive.
Thank you for your question, Councillor. I can't address that specifically. We haven't made any definitive plans. With what we have in place right now, I would like to see how this works out. And if we need to adjust it, then we'll look at it with a fresh set of eyes and make changes where necessary.
Yeah, and thank you. And I just want to reinforce that people are walking on the streets, which is a hazard for them when they're walking with their own children and wagons and whatever they are, when there's a sidewalk right beside where they're parking either on the street or elsewhere. So let's ensure that the CPOs are aware of that as well. And I'm not sure ticketing is a solution there, but we definitely need to promote more safety along that street.
Agreed and acknowledged. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Schindler.
Thinking back, or through the chair to Mr. Fluker, thinking back to last year, littering was an extensive problem, and I'm really happy that we're putting more bins out for people. Is there plans to enforce littering tickets or bylaw to make sure that people who are offending are held to account?
So thank you for your question, Councillor. In general, I'd like to say that in my meetings and conversations with the sergeant in charge and the CPOs, we are taking a little more of an aggressive approach to these kinds of things. I don't want to say ticketing will be the last resort, but where it's necessary and where people blatantly disregard what we're doing in that regard, then they have the freedom certainly to go and issue the ticket. So there's a heightened awareness and emphasis put on this.
Deputy Mayor.
Just a quick follow-up through the chair to you again, Mike. Will there be an increase in foot patrols in that area?
So yes, the plan is indeed for increased foot patrols. I understand that we will be doing some bike patrols as well to create a greater visibility. And in addition to that, our CPO resources, we're now at a level where we can begin to do these things more effectively. Last year we were somewhat short, so the visibility wasn't what we would like to have seen. I believe that will be enhanced significantly this year.
Any other questions from council with regards to this? I have a couple. One, I'm assuming since the conversation's already been happening that there's opportunity for continued feedback to the CRCA with regards to this. And so one of the things that I wonder if we could just, so when I was there on the weekend, I did notice that the employee was there. They're sitting under the tent and those sorts of things, but they're not really distinguished in any kind of way. So they don't have like a reflective jacket on. They're not wearing anything like that. There's nothing that we're kind of right. And so I know that part of the concern has been pushback that they're getting. And so I wonder though if there was a way to assist with that, to make them more recognizable. So I'm just wondering through administration if we could provide that as some feedback to them, because that is certainly something I noticed when I was there on the event for the weekend was the young person sitting under the tent, but really not like noticeable sort of thing. And so to have this working effectively, I think that person's got to be engaging with every vehicle that's coming in and out.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your comments, and I acknowledge the observations. We can certainly do some things to assist with that. And in particular, we can provide safety vests, which would, to a large degree, identify somebody other than another pedestrian in the area. And again, I believe after we get through a weekend or two with this, and we'll try and do some training, if you will, and show these people how they need to be to create a presence. And I know the CRCA will be very receptive to that. So I commit to you that we will take those actions.
Awesome. My second one would be, and I'm not sure if we need a motion for this. This will actually be part of my report that'll be coming next week. So just as a bit of a highlight for next week, I'll be giving one of the things that we wanted to do as a council is we wanted to report back to our residents the value that we're getting out of our conferences and things like that we go to. And so I had the opportunity to go to Sylvan Lake for a conference, and I'll be bringing a report for that. And then each of the councillors will be speaking to their takeaways that happened at FCM when we were in Ottawa there last week. And so on the Sylvan Lake side, though, one of my takeaways was for their paid parking, they actually utilize an app. And I have the name of that app and that sort of thing. I'm not sure if I want to promote that app or over other apps at the moment. But they utilize an app. Red Deer utilizes the same one for parking. Some of the things that they do, for example, with theirs is residents. So residents in Sylvan Lake put in their information, and then each resident gets up to 4 license plates per house that they can utilize, and that's how they don't pay for parking at Sylvan Lake. And so if you are not a resident of Sylvan Lake, you put in your information in there, and then that's how you end up actually paying for the parking. So it's all done via an app. And so I'm wondering if that's something I am confident that we would not get this in time for this summer, so please don't hear my statement right now as go and figure this out for next week. That is not what I'm suggesting, but I would think it would be great if administration could look into possibly even contacting administration from both Sylvan Lake and Red Deer. I know that they're both utilizing it. Sylvan Lake, I think, would be a great comparison because of their lake community and the culture and the visitors that they have coming in, and so we see similar struggles, obviously on a smaller scale than Sylvan Lake. But I guess I would look to Lead Services and CAO if there's a motion needed for that, or can we just request that we look into some sort of an app to assist with something like this, Mr. Edney?
Yeah, through the chair to yourself. It's something we can look into, and it's something we talked about. It was just a question of who does enforcement of that fall into and what is more efficient. And I think our initial discussions with the CRCA is this person at the entrance, because there is only one entrance or exit coming in and out, was maybe a better way to get every car coming in and out versus having people just go in, do what they want, and then having a CPO or somebody go by and check the numbers. But I think it's something worth looking into, and especially if we can get one of the big issues at the CRCA is when nobody's there. I hear horror stories of people triple and quadruple parking and things like that. So again, until we did talk about the idea of really laying out the overflow parking into parking stalls so people don't do that. But the CRCA, for at least this season, felt it was a benefit to have a person there to be able to help guide some of it too. But I was there with you in Sylvan Lake and heard about the app, so it's something on my list to investigate.
Okay.
And we can report back on that.
So we don't need a motion for it then?
You don't need a motion.
Okay. Because it's certainly something I would like to see followed up on, because like I said, Sylvan Lake was a great comparison, and both of us were there, and we both had it as a takeaway, and I plan to speak to it more in my report that I'm bringing next week.
Yeah, and I think it would make a lot more sense pending some further discussions on the recreation facility lands.
Yes.
I can say that. So maybe why don't we keep this in the back of our mind?
Sure.
And
okay,
we'll keep working on it.
Okay, and then a third concern that, a third point I would just like to raise is I've had a number of residents just reaching out with regards to the crosswalk, and that when it's just busy, I don't know what solutions we can find with regards to that. I wonder if there could be a solution instead of a push crosswalk that just starts blinking right away so that they can go. If it could be like a red light, like a light system that would. You can't cross until it goes green for you to cross, because I do know right now that there's been some backups at that particular intersection when there's just a lot of people crossing for the beach. And so I'm just wondering if that's a concern administration has also heard, or something that we or has been looked into from administration.
We actually haven't looked into adding a light or trying to change that situation. solution to this was to actually have a crossing
Yeah.
guard, if you will, that can stop the flow of pedestrian traffic. Because what happens right now is people just ignore that and they continue to cross in a stream until somebody can find a break in the traffic and the vehicles can move through. So I think a crossing guard would control that effectively and certainly be a lot more cost effective than us trying to put in a light
Okay.
at this particular time. But again, we'll take it under advisement and look at it and see if there's something more that we can do as we move forward.
Yeah, because the issue on this one is not the stopping of traffic; it's the stopping of pedestrians because traffic's not able to go, and so I'm just wondering about solutions on that. Great, thank you. Any other comments, questions from council with regards to this? Councillor Randawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have that discussion, the comment. When we were in Ottawa, there was the pedestrian was go 30 seconds earlier before the traffic start, and they stop earlier as well, so traffic will clear the pedestrian sign for the walk. So if we can do something like that in the time being, so pedestrian sign will come a bit quicker than the green light come before the green. It's few second was there. I noticed up there at the Ottawa light system.
Thank you for that observation, and we will have a look at that, certainly. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay. With that, then I believe what we are doing is accepting this for information. Great. Thank you. Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Councillor Grant.
I move that council accept the beach parking report for information.
Any comments, questions from council? I just had one. I just want to clarify a statement. I apologize. I just remembered this. You said in your report that not in your report, in your comments, you said that the no parking was going to be going to the end of the CRCA property. Doesn't it go all the way to the next intersection? Correct? It starts at the CRCA, like where you pull in, and goes all the way essentially to the golf course. That's how it is right now.
So Mr. Mayor, what I propose is that I'll go back with my people and we'll have a look at it.
Okay.
And I think what we should do is create a reasonable space, depending on the terrain and a number of other things. We may clear it right back to the next intersection, but I can't tell you with certainty that's what we've done without having to go back and look at it. But we will do what is reasonable and practical.
Right. Because that's what we did last year. Last year we went all the way. Mr. Edney?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just think we may be talking about two different intersections. So I think you're correct. It's going to the entrance into the Lakeside Greens community.
Yes, I can't remember the name
which
of the
is
street right now.
16th, the 16th hole there.
Yes.
At the end, but not to we're not moving it across down like the
No.
17th hole of the golf
Not to
course.
Merganser.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you're right. Last year we had it up to that intersection. So I haven't seen where they've put the no parking signs up to. If they
That's
went
where
all
I've
the way
seen
down
them
there.
this year as well.
Okay,
I was just clarifying because you had said we were stopping it at the property line of the CRCA, but I thought we were going all the way, basically, to the entrance of the 16th hole.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Councillor Grant.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you to administration, Mr. Fluker, I just, we preach about up here all the time, thinking about proactive instead of being reactive. And just to help that train of thought, I know the CRCA is planning on paving phase 1 of the parking lot this summer. So I just want to make sure that we are keeping that in mind, that it will affect parking this summer at some point. So I just want to make sure that we have our ducks in a row for when that day comes.
That's a great point.
Through the mayor to the councillor, your comments are noted, and we will keep that in mind as we move forward and that development takes place. Thank you.
Hopefully they don't do it over a weekend. Can you imagine? Okay, great. Any other comments, questions? Great. Call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you.
Good job.
We now have request for decision. This is vehicle shortage. Don't run away too far, Mr. Fluker, because you're up again for item 7.3.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Mike Fluker here to report on and ask a request for decision regarding a vehicle situation that we have that's developed for us within the city here. So what I'm requesting is that council approve an annual expenditure of it's approximately $40,000 to acquire 4 mid-size SUVs that are all-wheel drive vehicles. This would be done on a lease basis, paid at a monthly cost of $799 per vehicle, plus insurance of $500 a year. The lease can be acquired without a down payment, and there's no residual at the end of the lease. At the end of 12 months, if we determined they were no longer necessary, we could return the vehicles to the lease company. So the background on this is simply this, that city staff growth over the past year has placed a demand on our shared vehicle resources, and we can no longer meet that demand with the vehicles that we have. And part of that is that we have increased seasonal workers. They come on in May, and we need to get them out to their work sites and to conduct their various jobs. So the vehicles that are typically available for people from the office and administration, and for the most part, it's the group from CGI, the inspectors that need these vehicles to go out to the various job sites, now find themselves without a vehicle, and or if they can get one, it's very inconvenient to have to sign it out, sign it back in, drive back and forth. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have a busy day, most of these inspectors would be much more effective and efficient if they could have a vehicle pretty much assigned to themselves for the day. The thing that is happening within the city is that people now are utilizing their own vehicles for city work. And that would be okay, except for one thing. Most of them do not have insurance that insures their vehicle for work. And we could ask them to go out and do that and probably reimburse them for that. But I think the look is less than professional, and I would much rather see them with a vehicle that is marked as a city-owned vehicle. It just prevents and presents a much more professional look. Now, if we were to go out and try and purchase these vehicles, and we do need 4, I could have asked for more and said, well, I'd be happy with 4. Or, I think we're being very reasonable with this. If we'd purchased or were to purchase 4 new vehicles, the average cost would be somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000. So times 4, we're looking at $160,000 outlay. We don't and haven't budgeted the capital for that this year. So the solution was a lease, and the total lease again would be approximately $40,000 for the year, and it's not an upfront cost, it's a monthly cost. So divide that 40 by 12, and it becomes much more affordable. And my vision is that if this is approved and this lease works out, I've arranged through the leasing companies that are quoted on this for the ability to extend the lease for another year. It seems a very practical way for us to meet the demands that we're faced. So that is my request before council, and I'm prepared to take any questions that you might have.
Great, thank you. Questions from council with regards to this? Ms. Redden.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just want to add to council just a little bit more information on this particular request. So the motion will have changed, and Ledge Services will pull this up. Just that council adds this expenditure to the 2025 operating budget. There is funds in other categories in the operating budget that, as we've worked through the year, we realize we aren't going to spend the money in those particular categories. One of them is an evaluation of the community operations site and yard. The amount we've budgeted in there just isn't sufficient to actually do the entire exercise. And in conversation with Mr. Fluker, we don't actually need to do that exercise this year. So this is really not an addition to the budget. It's a change in how some of the money in the budget is going to be spent. And this is maybe just some foreshadowing, but I know previously administration has operated under the belief of the CAO has the ability to add up to $75,000 items into the budget. In my previous roles, the CAO has had full authority to move items within the operating budget, just as long as we don't spend more than the total number at the bottom. So that's something I'll be coming back to you with, is to maybe formalize some sort of policy that lets us do some of these administrative things. But for this particular one, we're looking for council guidance and acceptance of this administrative task.
So to that point, though, this motion says an addition to the budget, but you're saying it's going to come from a different part of the budget.
Yeah.
So shouldn't the motion just reflect that?
No, I think what you should just do is the way this is, because I have to work with finance on exactly how to move that over. I would add this into the budget, and then we can have that as a variance on the other side when we come out in the other category, if that makes sense.
Yes, but then in theory, council is approving $50,000 addition to the budget. So then if administration doesn't come back with something, I'm not saying that you wouldn't, I'm just suggesting as doing responsible governance.
I'd agree.
Right? Like, I like your plan. Your plan is saying, like, I'm going to take it from here and move it to here. So we're not increasing the budget by $50,000. So shouldn't we just say that in the motion?
Can you type as I speak?
Thank you.
Council authorizes administration to
Reallocate.
reallocate $50,000 from the, is it under the buildings? Let's say from the community operations budget, reallocate $50,000 budget to conduct a site assessment at the operations facility, to leasing 4 vehicles. Does that make sense as I'm reading it?
Yep. Okay. A question that I would have is, how are these vehicles going to be marked? So we're leasing them, so we're obviously not getting them all deckled out, I would think.
Actually, indeed, we will mark them. The vehicles that we will lease are white in color, and the deckling that we have now available it's almost like the kids' tattoo things that they stick on, and we can remove it
Oh, okay.
at a later date, and
Okay.
it won't impact the vehicle. We don't have to repaint or anything like that.
Right, that's what I'm getting at.
They're
Okay.
removable decals, but they will be marked.
Right. Okay, thank you. Okay. Can I have a counselor make the motion, please, and then we can open up for debate on this item? Counselor Narayan?
So move the council authorizes administration to reallocate $50,000 from the community operations budget to conduct a site assessment at the operations facility to leasing 4 vehicles.
Great, thank you. Comments, questions, debate from council. Councilor Worzanowski.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. A question through yourself to Mr. Edney. Can you clarify what would be, I mean, do we have a surplus out of that budget that we expect funds not to be spent that you're moving over as a proposal for these units?
So through the chair to Councillor Worzanowski.
Not a surplus, but maybe monies that were not going to be spent, or you came under on budget on something.
No, not necessarily. We've allocated money in the budget to complete this site assessment at the Community Operations Building for future growth as we have that new land to the south. In talking administratively, we believe leasing the vehicles is a higher priority for the entire city team. So we would just like to defer doing that study until maybe the next budget cycle where we'll bring it back.
Okay, fair enough.
And use that money for this purpose instead.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from council? Councilor Grant.
Thank you, Mayor. Through the chair to administration, I have a few questions just relating around who's going to be using them and why these vehicles were selected. But I guess first, this authorization isn't just $50,000, right? It's $50,000 annually.
No. Sorry, through the chair. It's $50,000 for this first cycle. Yeah, for the yearly lease. We're already halfway through the year, so it would carry over.
So the term of the
into
lease
next
is
year.
1 year.
Yes. So it's one of those things where in next year's budget we'll have the 25,000 to get us through, and if we think it looks like it's a promising project, we'll add the other 25,000 in for the rest of the year, if that makes sense. And the 50,000 is to include the lease as well as the insurance and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, all the and the badging. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess back to my main line of questioning, or the question I had was, you mentioned CGI needed these. Are they the only department, or are there other departments that need usage of vehicles?
Through the mayor, to councillor. These will be general use vehicles. I expect them to be primarily used by the CGI inspection group. However, anybody from administration will be able to sign up one of these vehicles as needed. My intent is to create, well, first of all, I'm going to use one of the vehicles for our CPO group for the summer students that come in and do the bylaw enforcement. They're hamstrung without a vehicle. They have to be able to get out and around. So for the few months that they're here, they will have one of the vehicles. The other 3 vehicles, I'm going to create specific parking spaces here in the back parking lot at City Hall. And they will be here available for use and sign out. And the sign out will be controlled through the executive assistant of CGI.
Okay, thank you for that. So within that, you mentioned that these vehicles are now going to park here permanently too. I know parking is already at a premium around this building, so that might also be another consideration.
Yes, a good point, Councillor. So we've looked at the parking situation back here. We can actually create a couple of stalls for that without impacting the traffic. Some of the designated stalls are simply not used to a great extent, and it would be more practical use, certainly, to have the vehicles here for ready and easy access by those who need them. So that'll be the case.
Thank you. And I have one more question.
Yeah, Councilor Grant.
So my last question was, why were these vehicle types selected? Like, would a van be better? You also mentioned getting park staff around the city, I think possibly as one of the uses. So like, I'm just kind of wondering, why is it not a truck? Why is it this? Why is it not a van? Should we get a variety versus a single thing and pigeonhole into this one task?
Through the mayor to councillor. It's a great observation, and I believe that with a 1-year lease, we have the flexibility of adjusting this at the end of the 12-month term to, if there's a different style of vehicle that's better use, we could certainly do that. The reason we looked at SUVs, and particularly all-wheel drive, was with the inspectors in mind that need to get onto some of these sites that are maybe not quite roadworthy yet. The fact that they're completely enclosed, we can put some equipment into them as necessary and secure that. We can lock it up, as opposed to an open truck bed where we have to buy additional equipment to put a bed cover on it and those kinds of things. It seemed the most practical type of vehicle at this particular time. We could change that into the future.
Thank you, Mr. Fluker.
Mr. Redney? Oh, you're good. Okay. Councilor Wozzanowski.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. I've got a few questions. One, maybe somewhat related. You'd mentioned that some of our summer students need somewhere to drive. Obviously, students or adults under the age of 25 have higher insurance, and I'm sure we're insured for them. Do we ensure that we have safe driving records for those drivers?
Through the mayor to Councillor Wozzanowski, thank you for that question. In anticipation of this, we're actually going through the process of requiring drivers' abstracts from all employees. That's probably going to be done on an annual basis so that we're current. The insurance portion of this, I will check on for you, but I believe it's very broad to include under 25 drivers. It would necessarily be so because of our summer student hiring program, but I will double check on that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure we would be covered for them, and it would be general nature to cover off our risk. My next question is utilization. Do we have an effective way where we can monitor the utilization so these vehicles are being used effectively and not sitting idle, as opposed to just, keys hanging by the door and just grab it as you go?
Through the mayor to Councillor Wozzanowski, thank you again for your comments.
What do we have?
The best I can tell you is that
Yeah, okay. Because I don't think we have that right now.
No, but vehicles are available.
Yeah.
Vehicles are available for employees if they want them, and I'm sure the keys are stored somewhere, right? So
yes,
I'm sure there's a sign-out procedure. My question really relates to, do we have a method to, do we have a metric of effectiveness of use of these vehicles? Because we don't want to pay, as council on behalf of our residents, we don't want to pay for vehicles that are sitting idle or not being used. That's all. Machines don't get tired.
Yes, we have the ability to track that. In fact, do with all the vehicles that we have. We know what gets used the most, what doesn't, what has unique usage, and is probably only applicable to certain groups within the city works situation. I have no doubt that these vehicles will be used to the fullest extent, and I would propose to you that at some future point we could revisit this to see what we're actually doing with those. But again, we have the ability to track that, and in fact do.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, with that, we'll call for the vote. Oh, yeah, we did have the motion. Councillor Ryan made the motion. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving now to item 7.4, which is report for information, Waterford Stage 1 Outline Plan Amendment. This is being presented by Josh David, Planner 1.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Guys, can you pull up the PowerPoint there, Josh? Thank you. So my name is Josh David, Planner 1 with Community Growth and Infrastructure. Today I'll be presenting a report for information as well as a request for decision on bylaw 016-25, which proposes amendments to the land use bylaw in the Waterford Stage 1 Outline Plan area. So administration is recommending the following motions. With respect to the outline plan, that council accept the Waterford Stage 1 Phase 6 outline plan dated April 2025 as shown in attachment A for information. And then with respect to the land use amendment, that council give first reading to bylaw 016-25, being amendments to the land use bylaw 020-24 as amended, as shown in attachment A. And that council approve the scheduling of a public hearing for bylaw 016-25 for July 8th, 2025 at 10 o'clock a.m. So I'd just like to note that the outline plan and land use redesignation are two separate processes, but they will occur concurrently. To reduce redundancy, there will only be one presentation to cover both of the reports.
Thank you.
For the overview here, so the city has received an application seeking amendments to land use bylaw 020-24 as amended, as well as the Waterford Stage 1 outline plan. Site context, so the proposed amendments involve a redesignation of a portion of Waterford Stage 1, which is in the southwest of the city. The city has received an application seeking amendments to the land use bylaw 020-24 as amended. The proposed amendments involve a redesignation or rezoning from residential single detached R1 to residential planned lot front drive R1 PFD, residential single detached R1 to residential planned lot rear lane R1 PRL, and lastly, from residential multi-unit R3 to residential single detached R1. So this is just a blown up picture of it. So what's highlighted on the bottom of your screen in the red dashed line is what would be getting re-amended. So a few different sections there. And we'll go into that more in detail after. Is again. So the proposed bylaw aligns with the general intent of the policies within the applicable guiding documents. So these were all the documents that were reviewed as a part of this application. The outline plan will need to be amended, as will the land use bylaw. So this amendment would result in the creation of 11 more single-family residential dwellings. These changes aim to provide diverse housing options, addressing market demands and economic challenges, as well as eliminating 2 existing R3 sites in favor of R1 sites. These amendments would also see the creation of an additional pathway connection through the area. So outlined there, so we'll be losing 35 standard R1 lots in favor of 34 residential planned front drive and 14 residential planned rear lane. So there'll still be single family homes, single family lots, they'll just be slightly narrower. And the applicant is also proposing removing 2 multi-unit R3 sites in favor of R1 sites. So often amendments that propose higher density residential dwelling types are perceived to result in quality of life concerns for the adjacent neighborhood. These concerns may include increased traffic congestion and reduced on-street parking availability. However, given the relatively small area included within the proposed redesignation, administration does not perceive this to be a significant risk and expects the lands redesignated to complement the existing character of the community. If a public hearing were to go forward, adjacent landowners and the public would be notified, enabling individuals wishing to speak in support or opposition the ability to speak to council. Overall, administration sees very minor risk in approving this amendment. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Okay, so just clarity on the process here that you're looking for. So you would want us to be accepting this one for information, right? And then the next one would be where we would give first reading to the bylaw. So in terms of the questions, then I'm just wondering, because the first one's for information, looking to our CAO on this, because the first one's for information, should we do the questions now at the time of the presentation, or should we do the questions at the time of first reading of the bylaw? It'd be more on a debate then, because we could just do it now in the presentation, so long as it's not debate. Because then we do debate at the first reading of the bylaw. Yes, thank you. I answered my own question. Great job. So, so looking to council with regards to the report for information. Do you have any questions with regards to the report for information? Okay, then can I have the motion, please? Great, thank you. So can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Deputy Mayor Schindler.
I move that council accept the Waterford Stage 1 Phase 6 outline plan dated April 2025 as shown in attachment A for information.
Comments, questions from council? Councillor Narayan.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you and through Mr. Kent to staff. I do see that this is Stage 1, Phase 6 for the Waterford Stage development. How many stages and phases are there for this development?
Apologies. Great question, Councillor Narayan, through our CAO to the mayor and yourself. There are 9 phases within this development. So what we're looking for here is we're proposing a slight amendment to the land use in that because we're into phase 6 at this point. So in order to do that, we need to amend the land use bylaw itself and also the outline plan to reflect that. So that's why they're kind of happening concurrently. But to your point, we are about 66% through.
Councillor Narayan.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So in terms of timeline as to, because this is coming, for consideration and public hearing, in terms of, if this were to go through, when do you see the development and when do you see the other stages coming? And do we know what those stages would look like in terms of, are they more R1s, R2s?
Very much so. So phase 6 is currently underway. With respect, we need to know what's happening here with how phase 6 will develop. So phase 6 is imminent. And then phases 7, 8, and 9, is there a map? If we go back up in the presentation, we had that map there. That's just for phase 6. We don't.
No, there's another one. Nope. The one in between, Josh.
Page 67 is one that I have.
Page 67.
There it is. Page 109 in our agenda.
Is that what you're looking for?
That is what I was looking for, but clearly I was off in the phases, so I apologize for that. This is the phased plan as per the outline plan, or the phasing implementation plan. So we're talking about phase 6. No. Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to invite Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Answer some of these questions?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Come on up.
Wait, do you want to give him permission to speak?
Yeah, I will. I was going to let him get to the mic first. Do you just want to press the button right in front of you and the mic will come on? Oh, perfect. Can you just introduce yourself and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Matt Crone with Douglas Developments.
Awesome. So I think, Councillor Ryan, you're just looking to see where we are right now and the stages that are coming next. Is that correct? Okay.
Great. Yeah, so I guess to answer the first question, if we just go up, down a few pages, guys. Yeah, up one. There we go, perfect. So you can see the product type and the outline plan from the outline plan, which was issued in 2018. That'll give you an idea of what product type is coming for future phases. To answer your question on when you're looking at the map and you're seeing phase 10, original plan in 2018, there was going to be 12 phases given the market conditions and the spike in demand for housing. We started making larger phases. So we are on phase 6 now, which from our original plan, which again was over 6 years ago, was scheduled to be for phase 10, 10 of 12, but now we're on 6 of 9. So if you kind of zoom in there, our product type kind of working from, if you guys are looking at it, right to left, it's a very diverse product mix of R3, which is townhomes, our DC, which is our back-to-back townhomes, R3, we have R1s, R1P, R3, R1, and then municipal reserve. I think where your question was going is, are we going to go through another land use in the future? I'd like to say no. One thing that we should keep in mind is concurrently there is an outline plan coming for the 40 acres to the north of us. I believe Anthem is proposing that, which we are working with them. So as we sort of tie and marry those outline plans together, there could be land use changes because you don't want a block that has townhomes on one, for the first 10 units and then single family homes for the next 20. So I can't stand here today and promise you there's not going to be one, but we are very cognizant as developers of what Chestermere has been built on with density. And like this plan, we're not going to much higher density. And I think we'd be consistent with that if we did land use in the future.
Yeah, and to what you were just speaking of, there was an open house that was held for that particular development a month and a half ago or so. Yeah, that we had been invited to, and a number of our councillors were able to attend. Councillor Ryan, does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Any other questions either for administration or for Matt from Douglas Homes? Okay. So we do have the motion on the floor, and again, that this motion is to accept this presentation for information. So kind of last call here for any comments or questions from council with regards to this. Okay, I'll call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. So then we're going to move to same presentation, but now we're looking at bylaw 016-25, which is a Waterford Stage 1 Phase 6 land use bylaw amendment, again being presented by Josh David.
Yeah, so same presentation.
Yeah.
So if there's any other questions I can answer.
Great, thank you. So then for this one, just to clarify, what we're looking to do here is based on the presentation and the motion that we had just accepted and passed earlier. Now you're just looking for us to give first read of bylaw 016-25, which will then, if so moved, would result in us then booking a public hearing for July the 8th. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So with that, can I have a councillor make the following motion to give first reading to this bylaw, please? Councillor Ryan.
So move that council give first reading to bylaw 016-25 being amendments to the land use bylaw number 024-24 as amended as shown on Schedule A of bylaw number 016-25.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions from council? Okay, thank you. I am, what I would say is, I look forward to the opportunity that this is going to give now, where there'll be now the official process, where we're able to contact adjacent landowners, open it up for the public hearing, provide some feedback from the public and that sort of thing. So I am, just for clarity on how that process will play out, that way it'll give further opportunity for some feedback. So with that, call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. And so then can I have the motion for booking the public hearing, please? Can I have a councillor make the following motion for the public hearing, please? Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the council approve the scheduling for of a public hearing for bylaw number 016-24 for July 8th, 2025.
Great. Thank you. Comments, questions from council? Call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Just looking, with that then, what I'm going to do is we're going to take a quick break. Have we heard back at all yet, any further communication from our fire chief yet with regards to the tabled item?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. There was a little bit of miscommunication. I guess he was expecting to be here between 3:30 and 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So I apologize if that didn't get passed on, but he is going to do his best to be here by 3:30 or a little bit sooner if he can.
Okay, so then with that, what I'm going to suggest that we'll do, we'll take a 10-minute break here. So we'll come back at 2:15, and then we'll make the motion to go into closed session. We do have 2 items for our closed session here this afternoon, so we will tackle those in closed session. We'll come out of closed session with any motions that need to be made, and then if we need to take a further break before Chief Sebdi arrives, then that's what we'll do. So with that, we'll call for a break and come back at 2:15. Thanks, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. Just coming back from our recess, and as said before, we're going to be moving into closed session. So can I have the motion to move into closed, please? Great, thank you. Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Councillor Randawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the council move into closed session at 2:17 p.m. to discuss the following: West Chestermere Drive curb replacing FOIP Section 17 disclosure harmful to personal privacy, and land discussion FOIP Section 16 disclosure to the harmful to business interest of third party.
Great, thank you. Call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We're just coming out of our in camera conversation. Can I have the motion to come out of in camera, please? Councilor Randawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the council come out of closed session at 3:28 p.m.
Great, thank you. Call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. We'll take a 5-minute break here, and we will come back at 3:35. We'll have a couple of motions to make from our closed session, as well as the tabled item will be brought back. So we'll see you at 3:35. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Coming back from our break, I believe that we have two motions from our in-camera session. Can I have the first one on the screen, please? Thank you. Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Deputy Mayor?
I move that council accept the West Chestermere Drive curb replacement discussion for information.
Comments, questions? Call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. And the second motion? Councillor Grant?
I move that council direct administration to proceed as discussed in agenda item 8.2, land discussion.
Comments, questions? Call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Can I have a motion to lift from the table? Thank you. Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Councillor Grant?
I move that council lift item 7.1, appointment of DEM and DDEM.
Great, thank you. Call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. So then going back in our agenda to item 7.1, request for decision, appointment of Director of Emergency Management DEM and Deputy Director of Emergency Management DDEM, presented by Cody Zebedee, our Fire Chief.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Here to present on the appointment of the Director of Emergency Management and the Deputy Director of Emergency Management positions for the City of Chestermere. This is a bit of a formality to ensure that we're in compliance with the emergency management legislation, which basically indicates that a municipality needs to appoint an individual as a Director of Emergency Management. Ultimately, the Director of Emergency Management is an individual who, during an emergency, will act as the representative for the agency, for the jurisdiction, and as well as in the event of no emergency, is kind of making sure that our program is moving forward and taking care of all the pieces to make our program successful in the event of something happening. So we have two individuals that we'll be looking to appoint as Deputy Directors, which is Sarah Coots and Brent Paquette, one of the platoon chiefs, and then myself as the Director of Emergency Management. This helps us to comply with legislation as well as the bylaw that we have for the City of Chestermere for emergency management. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions from council with regards to these motions? All right. So can I have the first motion on the screen, please? Can I have a count? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the report, they were in a different order. Sorry, through the mayor, in the report, they were in a different order. I just wanted to make sure we did them in the proper order. Lead Services was on it, so thank you.
Great, thank you. Can I have a Councillor Narayan?
So move that council rescind motion number 444-21, council in accordance with bylaw 033-20, being the emergency management bylaw, appoint the following individuals to the respective positions: Teresa Arocha as Director of Emergency Management DEM, Andre Lua as Deputy Director of Emergency Management DDEM, and Brian Pomeranke as Deputy Director of Emergency Management DDEM.
Great, thank you. Comments, questions from council? Call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Can I have the second motion, please? Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the council appoint Cody Zebedee as the Director of Emergency Management DEM for City of Chestermere.
Thank you. Comments, questions from council? Call for the vote. That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations on your new appointment. Can I have a councillor make the next motion, please? Deputy Mayor?
I move that council appoints Sarah Coots as the Deputy Director of Emergency Management, DDEM, for the City of Chestermere.
Comments, questions from council? Call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. And then one last motion, please. Can I have a councillor make the following motion, please? Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the council appoint Brand Pecute as the Deputy Director of Emergency Management, DDEM, for the City of Chestermere.
Comments, questions from council? Call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. With that, I believe that we've come to the end of our agenda items. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please? Oh, Councillor Randhawa.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move that the council adjourn the meeting at 3:42 p.m.
Thank you. Call for the vote. And that's carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody.